You know, timing is everything, so that's really important. That's one thing I drill into myself. The only way you can really know how you truly feel is to pray about things, and you can piss me off. And it's like sometimes I gotta go into one mode, which is, a firm rebuke of things that are gonna hurt a lot of people, and it's not who I really like to be. It's necessary if you want to keep people from hurting themselves. And the other side of me is I want to be joking and laughing and exploring things, and it's kind of the lion and the lamb. So I have to always be honest with myself because you have to do that. I mean, that's a strength, to be honest with yourself. And I think a lot of the times I'm avoiding something that I don't want to deal with because I just have to make sure that I'm getting the words right from the spirit. I'm clearly in unfamiliar territory when I'm thinking about a queen in marriage and all that, because I've been testing and testing and testing and testing and testing, and it's been painful at times, and that's kind of desensitized me to that type of pain. And I can seem insensitive and mean sometimes. I admit that. Because I don't think people understand what I'm doing. I'm doing something in a moment that you see. Like, the best way I can explain how my mind works, because people ask me this all the time. Let's say that I'm drawing my wife like this perfect drawing, and I want it perfect. So let's say I'm shading, and I do like one side of a bird's wing, and say you're in the room watching me. And I'm talking to you at the same time, and I'm answering some questions that you have while concentrating on this bird. And I'm answering some questions for you. I'm concentrating on this bird, and I stop and I look at it, and I look at you, and I'm like, I get that, but have you considered this? And I go back to the bird, then out of nowhere, I put it down, say, I'll be right back, walk out of the room, come back with a hammer, take a nail it into the wall, put the hammer down on the table, and go back to talking with this bird. And I'm sitting there talking to the bird, like, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just like, where are you? Like, I can see this could work out and this could work out. And I'm still listening to what you're saying over here, and I'm responding perfectly. And then I'm drawing, and then all of a sudden I open up the window and I sit back down and I look over and I see an alarm clock and it says 2:58. So I'm lighting a cigarette, looking at this bird, listening to you, and then out of nowhere I stand up, walk across, put the hammer out the window. The hammer disappears. Some guy says something that answers your question perfectly. I tell him, thank you for that. Sit back down, get back to the bird. Window's still open. And I'm sitting there letting the breeze come in, and I'm listening because I know that it's getting kind of stuffy in here. And I'm listening some more, and you're just sitting there looking at me. But what you didn't understand is I borrowed that hammer from my neighbor. He has court at 3:30. I want to be considerate, and I want to make sure that he doesn't get to court late. So instead of having him knock on the door and go through all that, because seconds can matter, it's 2:58. I didn't tell you all this, but that's why it happened. Then I stand up, close the window, look at the bird that I'm drawing, look at you, and then ask you, what do you think about this bird? Then you have to stop, focus, process everything that just happened because it makes no sense to you. But it makes perfect sense to me. That's the best way that I can explain myself. Because Maybe I should have said, hey, some guy's going to come over at this time. But then what happens if he decides not to go to court? So I have to move in the moment quicker than the moment. I'm not psychotic or anything like that. I just think really, really fast. So fast that the spirit just tells me do this. And then my mind catches up with what I just did. And it goes like that. Mm-hmm. Too funny. Red, of course, being the color of power. So everything is perfection. So I was thinking of King Xerxes and Esther and everything, and he basically auditioned a whole bunch of prospective queens, and I didn't want to do that. And then I was thinking, just dumb yourself down and all that. And I was like, why should I have to dumb myself down? Why can't I just be me? And then I was thinking, I don't even know. It's like you could have this amazing thing. Could be amazing. Could make you even better. Could improve you. Could be awe-inspiring. Could be just this amazing person that you continually are amazed by. But then I'm thinking, like, what woman could put up with me? Like, I'm a perfect gentleman and all that, but I don't listen well unless it's the Holy Spirit speaking through you. I don't. It's going to piss you off. So I'm like, I don't want to be some type of tyrant or anything like that. There's plenty of those that enjoy power over people. And I don't. I'll be like, you handle it. You lead. And I do. I test my disciples. Like, they've been through it. So I don't have to test Peter anymore. But he got tested a lot. And he's stuck by me. And he's the one that's been like my best friend. And he wants me to have a queen. And he wants a queen. And he's been mistreated. I've been mistreated. The level of disrespect I've received, and just kind of smiled and said, and just smiled and was like, What the Spirit did afterwards is not all the times that I witnessed it with my eyes. I just kind of walked away. I was like, I understand. So the crown is heavy. I tell all my disciples that. I was like, it's a heavy crown. I'm going to hold you responsible for your people. I'm going to come straight to you. Because what that's going to do is make sure that you have the proper motivation to care about your people and not be half-stepping. Now, you can run your kingdom however you want, as long as it's not conflicting with proper etiquette and what royalty should be. Be creative. As long as it's love, we're good. So I do test and I do train in the beginning, and I'm just like, okay, now fly. Now it's yours. I trust you with it. That's why sometimes when I make these videos, I jump around from topic to topic, but if you watch them over and over again, you'll see that every single video connects. Because one, I want to make it interesting, but two, I'm also leaving these videos for certain people that might watch them 2 years from now. It's going to be relevant for their lives. That's just how I think. So mostly outside of here, when I'm outside, I don't speak to many people. I kind of just watch. Small talk a little bit. If someone talks to me, I'll speak back. But other than that, I don't like start conversations. I'm not outgoing the way I want to be. Unless it's someone I know, spirit to spirit, and I see that they're light, and then I'll play around with them, and I'm a whole different person. If I don't know them spirit to spirit, I don't say anything. And all I do is walk around people I don't know. It's a sad thing. It does wear on me. I'll be real. I'll be real on that. Because I'm like, well, my people aren't going to accept me. My people among these people that I'm walking around that I don't know, we get along just fine. They accept me. So I always have that in the back of my head. But I'm like, I have a mission. You know, those that know me know me. So I'm also training for getting called all kinds of things. I'm also training for what they call media training and all of that. I'm just going to bypass all of that anyway. I'm already looking ahead. I'm going to have to make examples out of some people. I'm not looking forward to that. Preparing for that because I don't like being mean. I don't like that side of me. It's necessary, but I don't like it. Then I'm like, well, I understand how celebrities feel. Every move they make is scrutinized. I was like, there's some people in Hollywood that don't want to be there. And I'm thinking, I'm going to send my people in there? Well, they're strong enough. There's some real dark stuff there. And I'm like, but why? That's a platform. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, you had this, but then you had the Olympics. Am I going to watch the Olympics? Yes, I'm going to watch the Olympics. Something that someone trained for their entire life, and this is their shot, and they know it could be their only shot, and they gave everything for. Yes, I'm going to watch the Olympics. Part of the reason is just to see that commercial by Miss J.J. Heller. Because I consider that her commercial. I'm not just I'm thinking about the entire world. I'm not just thinking about one country. I'm comparing countries. I'm comparing people in other countries to people in other countries. There's people that have bled for Jesus. Literally. Gone through persecution like what the Bible said would happen. And I know all my people are like, why are we here? To change the world. And I can appreciate all the songs, and I can appreciate all the praise, and I can appreciate all the let's stand together and let's love and everything. But if you're not going out into the streets where the people that need the love are, it's not an effective weapon in this war. Encouraging the people is one thing. That's one aspect of the front. That's the hospital. Okay, I get that. But there needs to be action on the battlefield. So if I can get people to a platform that impacts the world, it has to be on their terms. It has to be God showing up in Hollywood. And they have to be strong enough to not give in to pressure and not give in to the chance that they might lose it all if they say no to something. They have to stand. So I've trained a lot of my people to be ministering in the workplace. That's the first place you'll experience some pressure. I've done it. I went out in a place of glory, evangelizing the entire place. So there's paperwork. I think I got 3 letters. What do they call them before you get a letter of termination? I don't know, in the military, it was a LOC, letter of counseling, and letter of reprimand. Gotten those 2. It's been so long since I was in a work environment like that. I don't know. I used to write my own to encourage my people to take sales seriously. I was teaching sales. So I've been training people in work environments and in the streets and in their homes, and it's a lot of fun. But if you're not serious about it, I wouldn't recommend it. If it's not what you really want, we'll find out fast. Nazarenes are like special ops. It's like a 97% washout rate. Good. I like that excitement. It's like I stay with you the entire time. I go through everything you go through. So it's miraculous, and it's mind changing, and it takes off layers and layers and layers of fears you might have. There's different ways to do it. The way I do it is basically things you don't want to do, and then you find out it's not as bad as you thought it would be, because I make it really, really easy, and everything lines up, and it takes waiting and it takes timing, but in those periods we have fun, and then it's like, all right, time to move. And then you see why, because you have to be where prostitutes are at in order to minister to them. You have to be where people are trying to get substances in order to minister to them. Like, it's literally like special ops type stuff. And I got videos on it. You can ask Peter. I trained him personally, and he went through it. You'll never go through what Peter went through. Promise you that. It's gotten easier progressively. And then Peter had to disciple John, and that was just... John literally, and Peter, and me, all 3 of us were in an apartment, and John was just thinking he was going out of his mind because Lilith jumped on him too. And then Peter broke, and Peter just like... Then I broke, and then John definitely Peter had explained things to John. So it was good that Peter was able to hold his hand through the whole thing. But that's a whole nother story. I'll get into that. I'll let Peter tell that story. It's good for him, because then John will someday see what Peter went through for him and what I went through for him. And it really depends on the level of responsibility I'm going to place on you. Like, no one has the responsibility that I've placed on Peter. So you don't have to worry about that. Peter will tell you himself. It would just be like, and then the Spirit's like, she can take it. And I'm like, I believe she can take it. And that's what makes her so strong. That's why she's going to get the level of responsibility that she already has. And I was watching Scrubs, and I love Scrubs, and I was like, I'm not really like Dr. Cox. I'm not like belittling like that. I'm straightforward. But I don't like go straight for your throat right away. Like, I give hints. I'm like, get it together. I don't yell, mostly. Not really. Unless it's like, we've been at this for a year and we're getting nowhere, then I might raise my voice. I'm pretty patient. Because I check in on you and I'm like, all right, how's your kingdom going and all this. And then if I have to show up and it's not like a social call, like I'm doing an inspection and things aren't in order, then, what is a 5-star general going to do if he shows up to a military base and no one is even remotely trained or ready for deployment or really any type of effective military action whatsoever? I'm going to be a 5-star general about it, because I'm trying to build something and I want people to be a part of it, but I also want them to feel like they're a part of it, not just on the outside looking in and then expecting the benefits, because that will make the ones that stayed military ready, that makes them feel less valued. And I have no problem making an example out of someone. No problem whatsoever. I've already picked the people I'm going to make an example out of. So it's like, it will be a sad day. I'll be like, so you're the one I'm going to make an example out of. All right. I won't look forward to it, but I'll be prepared and I'll do it. You have to. Too many people are depending on you. It doesn't mean that I like it. I don't like being a lion. I like to be a playful lion. No lamb is getting led to the slaughter this time, I promise you that. So, that already happened. That achieved what it was supposed to achieve. Now we move on to phase 3. And the first thing that we have to do is reestablish people's self-esteem. That's why I choose my words carefully. I don't mean them to be insulting, but I mean them to be memorable, and I mean them to change something in you. I'm just like, if we have no soldiers on the front line, how are we going to win? We have no defense. It's going to start in the correctional facilities, and it's going to trickle into the housing. It's going to impact the mom. It's going to impact the brother. It's going to impact the sister. Fathers that are supposed to be there are going to continually be in a correctional facility, and that little one is going to find another father figure. Daughters are going to have no one that they feel cares about them. So they're going to find an older man. So that's when I get riled up. Because we're talking about my kids here. And I'm like, it's like people are being given orders by the supreme commander of heaven's army. And they're saying,